I was days away from finalizing an adoption when the birth mother made a confession that made me no longer want the child. My husband Marcus and I had been trying for 6 years, 3 rounds of IVF, 2 miscarriages that left me empty in ways I still can't describe. When the fertility specialist finally told us our chances were basically zero, we sat in the parking lot and cried for an hour. Adoption felt like our last hope. We connected with a private agency that specialized in matching hopeful parents with birth mothers who wanted open arrangements. Within 3 months, we were matched with a woman named Jessica, who was 7 months pregnant and had chosen us from a stack of family profiles. The first video call went perfectly. Jessica was 26, soft-spoken, with kind eyes that crinkled when she smiled. She said she wasn't ready to be a mother but wanted her baby to have a good life. She'd seen our profile and felt connected to us immediately. We talked for 2 hours about everything: our jobs, our families, our dreams for this child. Over the next few weeks, Jessica and I talked almost daily. She sent ultrasound photos. I sent nursery updates. It felt like we were building something beautiful together. But then I started noticing things. Small things at first. During our calls, Jessica would sometimes pause mid-sentence, like she was listening to something. I'd ask if someone was there, and she'd say no, just the TV. But I never heard any TV in the background. She asked strange questions too. How much savings did we have? Did Marcus travel for work often? What was our home security system like? I told myself she was just being protective about where her baby would live. Then there was the paperwork situation. Our adoption coordinator, Beth, mentioned that Jessica had requested 3 different amendments to the legal documents. Each time, the changes involved financial terms. Medical expense coverage was increased. Post-birth support was extended. A new clause about emergency contact access was added. Beth said it wasn't unusual for birth mothers to negotiate terms, but something about her tone made me uneasy. 2 weeks before the due date, Marcus and I flew out to meet Jessica in person. The plan was to be there for the birth, to hold our daughter in the first moments of her life. We checked into a hotel 20 minutes from the hospital and waited for Jessica to call. She didn't call for 3 days. When she finally reached out, she said she'd been sick, a stomach bug, nothing serious. But when we met her for lunch, she looked perfectly healthy, no signs of illness. She was cheerful, almost too cheerful, talking rapidly about baby names and nursery colors. I noticed she kept checking her phone under the table, quick glances every few minutes. Then she'd type something fast with one hand. When I asked who she was texting, she said just her sister. But according to our case file, Jessica didn't have any siblings. The day before the scheduled C-section, Jessica asked to meet me alone, just the 2 of us, without Marcus. She said there were things she needed to tell me, woman to woman, before she handed over her baby. We met at a coffee shop near the hospital. Jessica was already there when I arrived, sitting in a corner booth with her hands wrapped around a mug she wasn't drinking from. She looked different somehow, older, tired in a way I hadn't noticed before. She started talking about her childhood, how she'd grown up in foster care, how she'd never known stability, how she wanted something different for her baby. I listened, nodding, wondering why she was telling me this now. We'd talked about her background before. Then she asked if I'd ever wondered why she chose us specifically. I said we assumed it was the profile, our stability, our home, our obvious desire to be parents. Jessica shook her head slowly. That wasn't it, she said. She reached into her purse and pulled out a photograph. It was old, creased from being folded and unfolded many times. She slid it across the table toward me. I picked it up and looked at 2 women standing in front of a house I didn't recognize. One was clearly Jessica, maybe 10 years younger. The other woman looked familiar, but I couldn't place her. Then Jessica said something that made everything stop. She told me to look closer at the other woman, at her eyes, at the shape of her jaw, at the necklace she was wearing. It was the same necklace I was wearing right now, the one my mother had given me before she died, because the woman in that photograph was my mother, and Jessica said she'd been waiting 18 years to tell me why. The rest of the story is on my channel or linked below.